Hi, I'm Gayle Stahlhuth, Artistic Director of the Equity Professional East Lynne Theater Company in Cape May, New Jersey. And I'm going to present a Tale of the Victorians. Now, this is our 31st year of Tales of the Victorians, and usually we present American stories in bed and breakfasts, in tea shops, but it's July 25th, 2020, so we are presenting Tales of the Victorians outside every Thursday in a shaded backyard in Cape May. But on April 30th, we started doing our Tales of the Victorians at home. And so that's what I'm doing right now. And today, the tale is by Mark Twain, and it has to do with Calaveras County. Mark Twain was born in 1835 and died in 1910, and both times Halley's Comet came close enough to Earth that you could see it, when he was born and when he died. Of course, he wrote wonderful books about Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer and a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, even a book on St. Joan. But today, I'm going to start with a few quotes and then get into Calaveras County. Here goes. Don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. The world was here first. You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus. Don't part with your illusions. When they are gone, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. Classic, a book which people praise but don't read. No. Wait a minute, that can't be right. That just cannot be true at all. Up in the Big Tree region of Calaveras County, California, they read everything, because in most of those camps they have no libraries and no books to speak of, except now and then a patent office report or a prayer book that will hang on and last a good while if people are careful with it. But as for novels, they pass them around and wear them out in a week or two. One rainy day in the hotel in Angel's Camp, I asked my friend Duffy, Duffy, could you lend me a book? Well, I've got a mighty old Webster, unabridged, what's left of her. But they started sloshing her around and sloshing around and sloshing around the camp before I got a chance to read her myself. And then she went to Murphy's, and from there she went to Jackass Gulch, and now she's going to San Andreas, and I don't expect to see that book again. But what makes me mad is that for all they're so handy about keeping her sashaying around from shanty to shanty and from camp to camp, none of them has got a good word for her. Now, Coddington had her a week, and she was too many for him. He couldn't spell the words. He tackled some of them regular busters toward the middle, you know, and they throwed him. Next, Dyer tried her a jolt, but couldn't pronounce them. Dyer can hunt whale or play 7-up as well as any man understand, but he can't deal with those words worth a cuss. He just couldn't pronounce them. He'd worry, though, until he'd flush out one of them rattlers with a clatter of syllables as long as a string of sluice boxes, and then he'd lose his grip and throw up his hands. And so finally, Dick Stoller harnessed her up there at his cabin and sweated over her and cussed over her and wrestled with her as much as 3 weeks night and day till he got as far as R, and then passed her over to Lego Perel and said she was the all-firedest, driest reading that he'd ever struck. Well, if she comes back from San Andreas, you can get her and prospect her, but I don't reckon there's a good deal left of her by this time. Though time was when she was as likely a book as any in the state, and as hefty, and as full of general information in that she was astonishing. If any of these cattle had enough to know to get it out of her, well, I'll let you know if it ever turns up. County, home of the celebrated jumping frog of Calaveras County. 1865, Mark Twain's first successful short story. One day, in a mining town in Calaveras County, California, a stranger asked a miner, "Excuse me, but would you happen to know where I'd find Samantha Wheeler?" "Ah, she's a laundress. Lives up there on the other side of camp." "A friend of mine asked me to call upon her to inquire after his friend's friend, the Reverend Leonidas W. Smiley." "Well, good luck to you." Thank you, sir. So long." The request for this favor was a ruse. In truth, the Reverend Leonidas W. Smiley never existed. Rather, this stranger's friend had known that if he asked Samantha Wheeler about Leonidas Smiley, it would surely remind her of her infamous friend, Jim Smiley. So the stranger asked Samantha, and here's what she said. "The Reverend Leonidas W. Smiley? I never heard him. I can tell you about Jim Smiley. My friend must have made a mistake. Oh, no, good old Jim Smiley. Why, he'd bet on anything. A cockfight, a dog fight, or even on which of the two birds would fly off the fence first. Well, if you don't know the Reverend Leonidas W. Smiley, then I'll be on. Now, you just wait here. I'm telling you about Jim Smiley. Oh, much better story. Jim Smiley often bet and always won with his bullfrog, Daniel Webster. One day, Smiley bet a newcomer $40 that Daniel would jump further than any frog in Calaveras County. "Well," said the man, "I'm only a stranger here and I got no frog. But if I had a frog, I'd bet you." Obligingly, Smiley went out and catched a frog in a nearby swamp. While he was gone, the stranger poured a hefty quantity of quail shot down Daniel Webster's throat. When Smiley returned with a freshly caught frog in hand, the contest began. Counting 3, Smiley yelled, "Get!" and the new frog jumped out lively. Meanwhile, Daniel gave a heave and hoisted up his shoulders, but it weren't no use. He couldn't budge. Ugh. The stranger gladly took Smiley's money. As he walked away, he turned and said over his shoulder, "I don't see nothing about that frog that's any better than any other frog." A few moments later, when Daniel belched out a handful of quail shot, Smiley figured out what had happened. He took out after that fella, but he never catched him. And then a woman suddenly is yelling for Samantha. "Samantha Wheeler, don't forget we got a lot of laundry to do." "Oh, it's raining. Oh, just stay where you are, stranger, and rest easy." This here Smiley had a yaller one-eyed cow that didn't have no tail. Well, thank you, but I don't think that the history of Jim Smiley will give me any information concerning the Reverend Leonidas W. Smiley. The cow had no tail. It was only a short stump, like a banana. I'm very sorry, but I really don't have the time nor the inclination to hear about the afflicted cow. And the stranger bolted, not wanting to hear anything else from Samantha Wheeler.